All right, so one of the distinctive elements of HTML5 is the ability to create graphics on the fly. And I believe that one of the reasons that this came up was that in most cases, before HTML5, the way that people would have graphics on the web is using something called Flash. And there was some either complaints or concerns or issues with Flash. Maybe these were connected to Apple and iPads not supporting Flash, but HTML5 came out and it allows you to create graphics basically using a combination of HTML5 and JavaScript. And so what you can do is you can be drawing graphics on the fly. And because you can run a drawing function over and over again, that means you can create animation and action and interactivity on the fly. And so we're going to get into some what I think are excuse me, pretty cool things. But it all starts with the concept of a canvas. And canvas is an HTML5 tag. And all it basically means is we're going to create, let me just show you what we're going to end up doing on this first lesson. What we're going to do is we created a canvas this size, and then in that canvas we drew a rectangle and filled that rectangle with the color yellow. All right. So first step in the assignment is just the ability to create a canvas. And all you have to, we're going to focus over here. Let me get rid of this stuff. So in the body, you create a tag called canvas, and you give it the ID, whatever you want, but we're going to use for our code my canvas. And then this is, standard attributes. You could either do these inline like we're doing, or you could do them with style tags, but we're going to say, I want you to give it a width of whatever you want. Let's say a width of 400 and a height of 400. And then I created a border, and let's just go in here. I like green, so we'll just do forest green. And so, we're doing a combination of sort of old school tags, width and height, and new school tags, meaning the inline style tags. But all I want you to do for step one is to create a canvas, and then we'll start working with it. All right, so let's double check that that works. Great, so I have a 400 by 400 with a green border. All right, now what we need to do is we need to communicate with JavaScript. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to, let me just paste this because I'm still sort of getting used to this terminology myself. So what we're going to do here is we're going to create a variable called canvas, and we're going to link it to the canvas tag that we have here. All right. So canvas equals document.getElement by ID my canvas. And we can probably just change that if we want to jQuery. Right? So we'll do here my canvas, right? So all we're doing is we're saying when we refer to my canvas, or when we refer to canvas as a variable, we really mean that canvas. And then the next thing that we need to do here is we need to get its context. And context is a HTML or a JavaScript embedded tag that basically gets the properties of the element. So we're going to have canvas.getContext, and so that means that it's kind of like when we say get the style of, or get the value of. And so in this situation we're going to get the context. And so now we are saying we can have a shorthand context now represents the my canvas tag and getting the context of it in 2D right now, and we'll talk about 3D later, but in 2D right now, and then we can reference it like its height, its location, etc. All right, so let's just test this, just make sure we didn't screw anything up. Still there. We haven't done anything with it though. All right, so the first step of the assignment was to get this element. Now what we want to do is we want to draw a rectangle. And we're going to start off saying, you see here, we take its context, Remember, that's the variable that says canvas get context. So you could substitute, if we wanted to, we could say my canvas dot get context 2D dot fill style equals yellow. And what we're going to do here is specify, it's actually, before we draw the rectangle, we're going to specify what we want to fill it with, because when we fill the rectangle, we're going to fill it with black by default. So we're going to say context, which is the canvas element, right? We're going to say fill style yellow, and then we're going to draw the rectangle. And so what we're doing is we're saying we're going to fill from this, remember our coordinates. 0, 0 is here. So we're saying from 0, and then I think it goes 0, 0, 150, 75. Okay, so what we'll do is let's just test that. So these are the coordinates of the points of the rectangle. So let's say save work and show web page. All right, so let's see if that was because it doesn't support the JavaScript. I don't think I changed anything else. So let's just change that to get dot, what is it? Hold on a second. Document get element by ID. Let's just see if that was the issue here. You know how it is with JavaScript. You gotta be clear. All right, so we're just going to abandon that. I'm not going to try to solve that issue right now. Let's just say that we're going to use that specified as document get element by ID. All right, and let's change here and say, rather than, let's say 10 and 10, just to see where this shows up. All right, so you can see that it moved over 10 and down 10. All right, so it's starting here, 0, over 0, down 0, and then over 75 and down 75. Okay, so if we wanted to, we can change that again. And let's say we want to make that a little bit bigger, and we'll say to 250. And let's see what that does to our rectangle. All right, so it makes it longer. And then if we go down here and we make that 150, then we would expect that to be lower or wider. Okay. So then, and if we want to, we can change the fill color. So fill context, fill style, we can just make that whatever we want. Let's say purple. All right, so what's cool about this is that we're drawing this, we did this without specifying a function or anything like this, but we're drawing this on the fly. And so what we can do is we can redraw, and we can make things responsive to our cursors, all the stuff that we know how to do in JavaScript. But what I want you to do for this first lesson is create a canvas, change the size, and then create a rectangle and fill it with the color of your choice.